Next is a talk by Dr. Vidya, CIO of Hatikapi, speaking about adoption of a plant-based menu, an upcoming trend or need of the hour.
Thanks a lot, Anna. And thanks very much. Can I have a mic? Yeah, I really can't stand in one place and speak. So before I get it, thank you so much, Oddbox. Thanks, Minnie and George, for giving me this opportunity. Thanks to Mahender, the CEO of Hatikapi, to have me include on board. So I'm here today to speak about uh, why plant-based menu should be adopted in your menu. So thanks so much for doing wonderful jobs, having cafes and restaurants. I'm a doctor by profession, so I don't think I know the stuff that you all do 24/7, trying to give the best taste, the best food to all the customers, including myself. So today I'm here to speak about plant-based menu. Okay, thank you. Um, we have so many questions on your mind, right? What's a plant-based menu? So I'm going to answer why a plant-based menu and why you should adopt it or may adopt it or try adopting it. So there's a little image of the planet Earth, and that's the reason why, is sustainability. Yeah, so that's on the agenda. Is we're going to understand what a plant-based diet is. We have very little time, so I'm just going to rush through a lot of this. And I've been a vegan for the last 6 years, and I've tried going lean and also putting on weight and fat. It's all possible to be healthy without any diseases or any nutritional deficiencies with a plant-based diet if you have that on your mind. So what's the future of a plant-based menu, especially when you have a Michelin star chef like Gordon Ramsay having a plant-based burger on his menu. So I'm sure the trend is picking up, and we should be talking about it in India. And of course, I'm also going to talk about Hatikapi's marvelous journey when they adopted the plant-based menu 2 years back. So I'm going to talk about that as well. And also the love for the planet and the unique story of Hatikapi apart from all the initiatives that they do. So what's a plant-based menu? So I think all of you must be knowing, I normally don't do whatever single speaking. I would love to have a dialogue, but because the time is less, I'll just go and say, so no dairy, no meat, nothing from insects and animals. So the food that is devoid of any animal product is plant-based. So why plant-based? Because of course, it's a very, very sustainable option at the moment, because we have very little resources on this planet. And I'm sure you know that plant-based diets are supposed to be very healthy. So that's a reason. And then there's a saying that, eating is a necessity, but if you make it intelligently, then it's an art. So that's what is trending now. Well, I have a little facts and figures to quote today to show that the global market is really growing at a CAGR of 10%. And the market for the milk alternative is close to $100 billion. And also the meat is also close to, meat alternative is $100 billion. So I'm sure there are a lot of people. I just met Evolved Foods at the stall. So there are a lot of people adopting it, but I'm definitely fueling the reasons why you must. So you see that the trend is really growing all of the world. And I'm sure in India too, which is included in the Asia Pacific. So while I was driving here to this place, I actually happen to know that they grow something like lab-based, lab-grown diamonds. If that is possible, then why not lab-grown meat, lab-grown milk? I'm sure you would definitely agree to that, right? Because we don't have to pump in steroids and antibiotics and, intend to make someone suffer, especially the animals, because that's what you see on your plate. So a little bit of empathy for the planet, for the environment, and the animals. I can throw a lot of figures, but I'm sure all of us know why. It's because animal agriculture is the number one cause of pollution, number one cause for the climate change, deforestation, and loss of habitat for a lot of animals. The forest fires, and many, many, many things. 72 billion animals are slaughtered every year. So if we can do alternative, meat alternative, dairy alternative, definitely we can save this planet for our coming generation. So that's what this slide is talking about, is to give food security to the people on this planet who are suffering every day. 1 billion people go hungry every day. So definitely it's a very big cause of concern. And yeah, so it's not impossible to get an impossible burger, right? I'm sure you all would have tried. And it doesn't taste different or look different, or neither the texture is different. It's almost all the same. And I can tell you, I've traveled around the world and I've had these meat alternatives, and it's really not impossible. So the future of plant-based food definitely matters to restaurants, because I just quoted so many reasons why. Is also because the customers are changing. The customers are looking for plant-based options. And I'm sure, you are more and more inclusive if you add it in your menu. And I'm sure they would love it. And also, the research report said that the vegan market is set to grow to 31.4 billion by 2026, and that's very close. Yeah, so they all are going vegan. So lots of celebrities and politicians and bureaucrats. It's so nice to see these pretty faces, but I'm sure there are a lot of people going vegan. And it's good to be inclusive. Think about them and give them these options, and they'll definitely love you. Okay, another driver, apart from all that I quoted, the flexitarianism. So you can be a vegan, non-vegan, vegetarian, non-vegetarian, pescatarian, or eggetarian, whatever. People are very flexible. So they want to try one day meat, and the next day non-meat, meat alternative, dairy alternative, whatever. And also there are 3D printing of lab-grown meat, or the meat alternative, which looks, feels, and tastes exactly like meat. And if that can help save the resources of the planet, then why not? And apart from that, having this idea of sharing the planet with other animals, especially when the polar bears are suffering, I think we need to eat responsibly. So caring for the animals and the environment is also another reason, also for your own health. If you know about biomagnification, I don't need to tell you, I'm sure you know about it. The amount of mercury, the amount of plastic fibers that the fish consume every day is a cause of concern. And of course, so 3 trillion fish are like fished. We are overfishing them. So if you get a chance, please watch Seaspiracy, and you get more details about it. And then, yeah, food as medicine, that's what I talk. Being a doctor, I try to get as many platforms as possible to talk about this. Instead of popping pills for every problem, why don't we eat food as medicine? If you can eat food as medicine, we probably don't need to go to a doctor and spend lots of money. So, yeah, so talking about biomagnification and the antibiotic hazards, because these animals in the farm, the agriculture where they grow animals, which are raised to be your food, are pumped in antibiotics, steroids, and so many more chemicals, and they're processed to an extent where it's definitely hazardous for your own health. So I think I'm the only one going to be talking about this, but something food for thought and some takeaway message for all of you. Okay, so to be very quick, I'll just tell you why meat-based and plant-based and why I've chosen plant-based and what about you. So the reasons are, at Hati Kapi, we have noticed, that the plant-based foods, especially the dairy foods, because Hati Kapi is anyway vegetarian, we also use meat-based alternatives. At Hati Kapi, we realize that apart from being healthy and sustainable, it also has increased shelf life. It can be made locally. It can be sourced easily. It can be used for all your menus, and also has equal amount of protein and calcium. And what about meat-based foods that you normally use? Requires cold storage and cold chain, and also the risk of increasing zoonotic diseases because of the pandemic. There's definitely a risk of loss of business. And also, yeah, the cost of production of meat, as you know, is really, really high. So high that it's costing the planet a very heavy price. And our future generation is going to pay a real heavy price for this. And of course, I'm always worried about salmonella infections. And I see those cases every day in my clinic and in the hospital with food poisoning. So just another reason why we must try and have plant-based alternatives. Okay, there was a video here. I don't know if we can play it. Is it possible? Oh, yeah. Thank you so much for watching this. Oops. Yeah. And that's a Hyderabadi biryani, and it has meat-based alternative from Good Dot. So they manufacture the meat alternative. I hope you would like to try sometime. Thank you so much for the opportunity and your time.